My brain's going to explode. There's something sinister afoot, absolutely.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Slightly Biased Show here at the incredible Haymaker Studios, the Haymaker Network. If you're not subscribed to the Haymaker Network, folks, link down in the description. If you guys have not liked the stream yet, make sure you do so. Even if you are watching after the fact, a like goes such a long way if you're listening on audio devices, audio platforms, podcast platforms. Make sure you leave a review. Folks, some exciting stuff going on here at Haymaker. We're getting close to fully launching off the ground. I don't think people realize we're in our little infancy baby steps. And we're getting close to fully spreading our wings and flying like a bald eagle across the sky. And one of the very exciting things about it is the fact that, yes, it appears as though I am frozen on the screen. But beyond that, we have a very exciting giveaway for you all to announce. Obviously, we've already announced the giveaway. I'm assuming I'm still, you can still hear me? I hope so. Okay, cool. We have a very exciting giveaway to announce. We're going to be announcing the winner of that giveaway on Thursday, and we have a nice little update about the giveaway for you right now.
We're trying to hook up one lucky viewer with a chance to go watch Luka play the Mavericks on Easter Sunday. We got great seats we're giving away, and we've been talking about all you got to do to enter to win is tag a friend, be in the comments, subscribe, follow Haymaker on all the social media platforms. Boom. You also get to do a meet and greet with Luka. You'll get to meet him before the game. He's going to bring a couple Lakers jerseys. He's going to autograph them for you. Now we're going to announce the winner on Thursday, April 2nd, in the Slightly Biased Show, which I think is the greatest show in the entire universe. It's awesome. Now you get a meet and greet in addition to the tickets. Be sure to tell your friends. Good luck, everybody.
There you have it, folks. How exciting is that? I have entered my name into the contest, and if this place had any dignity whatsoever, they would pick me to win. But yes, that's exciting stuff. So make sure you guys enter the contest. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, of course, the Mavs are going to lose by 50 points in the game, but that's what we want, right? You're going for the experience. You're going to go see Luka. You're going to go a chance to meet Luka. If I win, I'm asking Luka to unblock slightly. There you go, folks. There you go. We need to spread some propaganda whenever we are there. So very exciting stuff right there. So make sure you guys enter to win that. How exciting is that? I mean, seriously. What? A chance to meet Luka before the game? Unbelievable. Luka, I'm a big fan. Thank you. I'm also a big fan. Let's dive into it and let's start talking about it. If I win, I want him to say, amazing. That's amazing. Let's dive deep into what we've got to discuss today because there are some things that I want to go over. We have Mark Cuban on a podcast with some interesting things to say about selling the team, the trade. Are we allowed to ask Luka political questions? Yes. Let's dive deep into that, huh? Luka, what's your stance on what we're doing right now in Iran? You'll get pulled away from the meet and greet immediately. Don't do that, guys. They will pull you away. They will pull you away if you are. And by the way, I've had several of you hit me up through DMs asking me to pick them to win. It's completely random. 1, 2. This is not my thing. I'm not the one. I'm not the one who's picking the winner. I'm not the one who's in charge of the winner. Okay, so I'm sorry. I have no say in it. I'm in the you understand? I'm in the contest. So I'm competing against you. Okay? I'm competing against you. All right? Let's dive head first. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with Mark Cuban and his interviews and his podcasts and his quotes? Do we want to start with geopolitical news? Do we want to start with great MVP performances last night from a couple guys in the MVP race? Do we want to start with where? There's so many different directions. I say we do start with the Mavericks. Obviously, unfortunately, there's just no real reason to start with them, but it does appear tonight they're playing the Milwaukee Bucks, which is a must-lose game in every single sense of the word, right? But yes, I'm not talking about fucking Gafford's shirt, man. I don't care at all. Like, I'm sorry. Here is some news about the Mavericks, who are a full-fledged tank, right? Full-fledged tank. Our Texas Rangers off to a very hot start, 3-1 this year. Offense looks good. Jake Berger's absolutely mashing. Evan Carter, 2 hits last night. Jack Leiter dominant last night. If the Rangers over the course of the season can manage to maybe get something out of Josh Young, maybe get something out of anybody in the bullpen, right? And preferably like through trade market, get a reliable back into the bullpen guy. They might be cooking with something. They really might. But anyways, the Mavericks are full-fledged tanking. Najee Marshall, PJ Washington, Marvin Bagley, Caleb Martin all out tonight versus the Bucks. So there you go. They are tanking. Mark Cuban. Now, I have to say, full transparency, I have not listened to this interview, and I actually just only saw the quotes about it today. In fact, 30 minutes before I got here. So I'm sure there's some context behind these quotes that I'm missing, but here are some of the quotes nonetheless. Mark Cuban, I don't regret selling. I regret who I sold to. I made a lot of mistakes in the process, and I'll leave it at that. So this is a sentiment we've heard from Mark Cuban as of late, that he does kind of regret who he sold to and that he feels as though he made mistakes in the process. Now, my personal beliefs and theories here, and I would love to have Mark Cuban on this show. I don't think it's impossible. I would love to have him on the show to really pick his brain on some of this stuff. Maybe one of my theories here, based off of the leaks a few months ago that he was interested in buying the team back, is I do think he's almost angling to be completely bought out. That's how I'm sort of interpreting some of this stuff, right? If I'm just looking at the gamesmanship here, I feel as though he's aiming towards getting completely bought out of his shares. And because what's he at right now? Like 23%, something like that. And I do have to say, I wonder what he means by this. Does he mean he's regretful in the sense that with what they've done to the team following, that maybe he thought that they would be more hands-on, less hands-on? Is it a regret of selling it to a family like the Adelsons? Because Mark Cuban's not an idiot. He's also dipped his toes in the political waters before. He knows who the Adelson family is. He knows what they're all about. So I can't imagine it's that as well, because, again, if you've dipped your toes into those waters, you know who these people are. You know these are some of the most powerful people in our country, right? And I do wonder, I wonder if it's I regret selling it to somebody who maybe is just so quick to shank me in the back, right? They told me that I would still be in control of basketball operations, and then within months, that wasn't the case. Perhaps it's that. I'm not entirely sure. But we have heard this sentiment from him recently. It's easy. To be fair, it's completely easy to say this stuff right now. Mark Cuban on the Luka AD trade. So here's stuff that I haven't seen. Mark Cuban on the Luka AD trade. I hung up and called the new owner, and he started telling me stuff that wasn't true, that he had been told as a reason why he approved it. I'm like, that's not true. I don't care if he's overweight. He's going to give you 30, 10, and 10 and win the game.
How'd you find out?
I was in Florida for
what
a
podcast
conference,
is this on?
and I got a text from the general manager.
He's reportedly said he understood the Mavs need to expand into the real estate game to grow as a team, Warriors blueprint, in the sense that he always knew he had to sell. Right, so that was the reasoning behind the sell, was that he knew that the new arena was coming up soon, and if a new owner wanted to get in and lay the groundwork for the new arena, that it had to happen kind of when it did. But again, in terms of the people he sold it to, I'm wondering what the reasoning is. Is there a way for us to get the audio of this up? I think I have...
And he said, call. And I did. And I thought he was asking.
Yeah, this whole thing is interesting. I mean, this sort of plays into, I don't want to say a good thing about Dumont and his ownership, because obviously it's not good, but something that I think is at least encouraging. And let me walk you through my thought process when I say this. Obviously, the trade in and of itself is terrible, right? Allowing this trade to go through is terrible. It speaks to how little you understand about basketball. It speaks to how over your head you are, right? It speaks to how just clueless you are when it comes to building a contender and building an NBA team. If you thought that this was a trade that made any sense at all. And Nico is somebody who clearly had some vendetta against Luka, clearly somebody who was in love with Anthony Davis. Like that much has been certain for a long time. And by the way, I want to say this, right? Only reason I'm even discussing this is because minority owner of the team is going on a podcast tour right now. Should come on mine. Podcast tour right now. I really am so incredibly done with these conversations. Like, words can't even begin to describe how little I want to talk about these things. But anyways, what I'm saying is it's not bad, is by all accounts and from what we've seen historically, Dumont is kind of hands-off. I think that's what you want from an owner. So in one sense, you have a very wealthy ownership group. Hey, how do they have their wealth? What do they do with their wealth? That's a different conversation. They have it. I don't think they're afraid to spend that money. And they are kind of hands-off. If they trust you and they trust your basketball acumen, they'll let you run the show. Now, unfortunately, they let Nico Harrison run the show. And it turned into a fucking catastrophe, right? It turned into a catastrophe. So I think moving forward, assuming Dumont is here for the long term, moving forward, maybe it's not that bad of a thing if maybe there are a couple people who understand the NBA, who understand what goes into this stuff, who might be in the inner circle, who are helping guide him in this process. But yeah, I feel as though, you know, I mean, we just have these same conversations all the time. It's actually incredible. Mark Cuban just confirmed Finley wasn't involved in the Luka trade, hinted at Kidd being involved too. That doesn't justify it for our coach or general manager to stand up, trade our best player. What? I'd have to sit down and really listen to this podcast to understand what's being said here. But is this out of context at all? That doesn't justify it for our coach and general manager to stand up and trade our best player. So again, this is sort of where I'm wondering what's the end goal of going on this media tour here? What's the end goal of this? What's the end goal of going on this as a minority owner? That's what I'm interested in right now. I know this is sort of a face-saving thing where it's like, I really didn't know. And, well, I can't, for some reason the audio's not playing. So right now I can't listen to it. Here, let's see if we can fix it on the fly. Maybe I have my settings wrong. I just don't understand like I said, he's losing his minority percentage and getting kicked out. I feel as though it's an attempt to do that. I feel as though it's an attempt to get bought out. Have the Adelsons buy his remaining shares and that be that. Personally. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong on that front. So I don't know. Did Jason Kidd have an idea about Luka Doncic trade coming? This has been something that's been debated ad nauseum, literally almost daily, it feels like. But with that being said, I do feel as though there's no way Kidd didn't at least know. This has been my long-standing theory, was that there was organizational frustrations with Luka that existed throughout the organization. And because of those existing frustrations, justified or not, Nico saw that as a green light. Everyone was in agreement. That's sort of my theory that I've subscribed to for a year now, and that's just going to be that. Because I don't know if Kidd was behind closed doors helping negotiate the trade or green lighting the specific trade itself. I just think there was an organizational thing with some people in the deep inner circles. I'm not even saying everybody, because clearly it wasn't everybody, but enough people who were like, yeah, it's a little frustrating sometimes. And whether or not that frustration, and anybody with a functioning brain would say, yeah, but who cares? We're like, yeah, sure. Maybe it's frustrating when they don't do X, Y, or Z, but you see how good he is? Yeah, like, even at his worst, he's like the third, fourth best player in the entire NBA. So who cares? That's what anyone with a brain would say, right? That's what anybody with two functioning brain cells would tell you. Who cares? It doesn't matter. You don't win anything without a guy like this. So anyways, yeah, I mean, anybody who was like, yeah, that trade actually makes sense, Nico, you should go through with it, should not be a part of the organization anymore. And it's also a reason why I'm just of the belief when we get to the offseason and we're doing the general manager thing, I just want clean slates. I don't want anybody who's, and I feel badly saying this because I have love for people who are involved in the organization right now. I just think from an organizational standpoint, and it always sucks when you do this because you're calling for people's jobs to be taken from them. Like, it's not a fun thing to say, but I do think from just an organizational standpoint, you almost have to start completely fresh. You have to start fresh. You can't, it'll always be lingering. How much did this person know? They say they didn't, but did they? And this person, we know that they had a relationship with this person and they worked closely with this. It's just going to be a nonstop circle, right? A nonstop cycle. So I hope whoever it is an outside hire personally. I said this yesterday on stream. I do kind of feel as though, and this is just me, like my personal feelings. I feel as though there will be a lot of change next year. I do feel like there will be a lot of change. I think you see it pretty frequently with new front offices come in and usually a new coach is there. That wouldn't surprise me. I'm not saying it's going to happen or anything like that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I am encouraged just by some of the reporting that we've heard that it does sound like the Mavs GM search is going very hard after some of these external candidates and guys who have done it in the past, guys who have had track records of success. It is encouraging to me. So we'll see. You know, I don't want to be optimistic about this, but you know, what's the alternative? Being miserable all the time? I've already done that. I've already been miserable all the time for the last year. Like next year, my hope and my dream is that next year, my hope and dreams are that the Mavs are at the very least fun and interesting enough. Fun and interesting enough that we just do not have to do this every 2 weeks, right? While you feel bad for Coop, he will eventually develop into the player people wish for, but whether he could win anything before his rookie contract expired is another story. He can leave in 3 to 4 years. I kind of feel bad for Coop just because this has been such a shit show, but yeah, I mean, I just think a fresh start is needed. I really do. And again, I wonder what is the benefit besides just some PR stuff of going on, especially as you're still a minority owner of the team, going on a podcast tour, doing I regret this, I don't like these people involved in the organization still did X, Y, and Z. It's just a mess. It's a circus. And I think it just needs a complete and total clean slate. I don't think it's possible to escape this when there are still people lingering who are involved with it. Does that make sense? And obviously the ownership is going to stay. You can't just fire the owners, right? In a perfect world, they're selling the team tomorrow. In a perfect world, I'm buying it, right? But we don't live in a perfect world. We live in the opposite. We live in a shit world. It's just an unfortunate situation for a teenage kid to walk into. Exactly. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Let's dive into some of the games last night real quickly because man. Shout out to March basketball. We shit on it, but there have been some good games. You know, I do think it's a shame that so many teams across the league are tanking. And I do think my negative views of it stem from the fact that my team has been abhorrently bad. But that Pistons Thunder game last night was fantastic. The Pistons, without their 5 best scorers, their 5 highest scoring players, kept at it with the Thunder. Overtime game. The Thunder built like a 15-point lead in the first half. Felt like they were just going to run away with the game. Pistons stormed back. These role guys on the Pistons, man, there are a couple of these dudes. Javonte Green has been fantastic all year long. He really has. Dirty work guy. Fantastic defensively. Fits their identity. Has been shooting really well from 3. Paul Reed has just quietly been, and if you've been kind of monitoring this situation, you know, Paul Reed has just quietly been like an advanced stat darling this year. They love him. He's been one of the best. I mean, we kind of joked about, if you consider Beef Stew their backup five, we kind of joke about like Dwight Powell maybe being the best third string center in the NBA. It probably is Paul Reed. It probably actually is Paul Reed as like just the best third string center. That or J. Will maybe. Oh God, first second I joined, he's already glazing the Thunder. Bro, I haven't even said a word about the Thunder. I haven't even said a word about them. Not much to glaze last night. They did not look very good. I am glazing the Pistons. And Asar was fouled out last night, but was incredible defensively. Both him and Chet were incredible defensively yesterday. That's two probably first-team All-NBA defensive guys. Very least All-NBA defenders this year. But this was a game for the Thunder. Second night of a back-to-back, to be completely fair. And this is a tough one. Obviously, the Pistons don't have their five leading scorers, like I said already. But they're still a very physical team, scrappy. Not a very fun second night of a back-to-back team to play. And listen, man. That fourth quarter from SGA was insane. I'm sorry. It was. I know he shot a lot of free throws. He shot 25 free throws. How many of those were intentional at the end? 4, I think. So 21 free throws if you take out the intentional ones. Okay. All right. Okay. That's a lot, for sure. No one's denying that. But that was disgusting how he walked them down. It was. It's back-to-back games now that he's taken over in the fourth quarter and hasn't missed a shot. Hasn't missed a shot in the fourth quarter of these games. Hate watching him play. We know. Trust me, we know. We know you guys hate him. Okay? We're fully aware of that. But this stretch here has probably cemented the clutch player of the year for him. Right? He's been the favorite there. It's probably cemented the clutch player of the year. I will say this. I do think Shea is going to end up winning MVP, right? He is still the betting favorite to win it. However, the gap has closed. This gap was gigantic. I think he was a minus 2,000 a couple weeks ago. He's now a minus 400 on FanDuel with Wemby at plus 300. I'd have to imagine, just judging by this, I'd have to imagine if the Spurs do end up as the 1 seed, it really might be Wemby's. It might be Wemby's. You fucked up the audio. Oh, shit. I can't even hear the audio. So that's my bad. I didn't know you guys were... I didn't know that was playing for you guys. Is this how it feels talking to slightly at a basketball game? What? So it is interesting. I wonder if the Spurs get the 1 seed, is it going to be Wemby's? I do think that this is probably it for Shea. That would be my guess. This is probably it for him. I can't imagine he wins another MVP. I cannot imagine the voters give him a third one. Because I'm starting to sense the frustration and the but the free throws, they're a little annoying. I know he's still young, trust me, I do. But him winning back-to-back, and I do think, it's completely fair. I think he's been worthy of those awards. Him winning back-to-back, that's probably it. Like next year, it'll be if the Lakers are really good, next year seems primed for Luka's year, or it might be Wemby. It might just be the start of the Wemby. Addressed, never mind for Wemby clip. Is that the one the NBA posted? Let's stick with this one because look. Here are the clips of all 16 Wemby fouls. Okay, or Shea fouls, and it's 9 minutes and 40 seconds long. And we're not watching all of it. But if you were to watch this, you watched the game last night. I don't know, man. not to be this guy, but like, where are they not fouls? I don't know. Where are they not fouls? I just watch these and I'm like, yeah, he's getting fouled. He's getting fouled on all of these. Right? And again, I hate to be that guy. We've done this before ad nauseum. And this has been my stance for a long time. So you guys know that for me, it's not even a singular person thing. I always have kind of defended some of these foul baiters because like people, this clip right here, people try to say this wasn't a foul. I saw this on Twitter. People saying this wasn't a foul. What are we doing? This clip was being posted saying, how is it? Look at this. What are we, seriously, like this is why I have to say with some of these discussions, like you just come off like an idiot. You do. You just sound stupid. Look at his arms coming over like that. How could you possibly argue that this isn't a foul? What could you possibly say that doesn't make you sound like an idiot? So anyways, my thing with the foul baiting and grifting is, yeah, it's annoying, but it is a skill, and they'll call it, and you go to the free throw line, and it's one of the easiest and most efficient way to score points. All these guys do it. All these guys have their ways. The reason why most of these guys get fouled so much is because they are so incredibly gifted offensively. It's so incredibly difficult to guard them. It's so incredibly difficult to stay in front of them. And so because of that, right, they beat you to their spot. You're kind of out of position already. They create contact. And that's that. Right? And that's that. Call fouls on his teammates. I mean, they do get called fouls. And that's a fair critique, right? That is a fair critique. The Thunder play an incredibly physical brand of basketball. They play an incredibly physical brand of basketball. He attempts to draw fouls instead of just playing basketball. I just disagree. I really do disagree with that. I don't agree with it really at all. It's the same when people have the same criticism for Luka. I don't agree with it either. They are trying to score. And sometimes as gifted scorers, they can sense that their defender is out of position. And they have beat their defender. And because of that, they are going to get fouled. So they use that to their advantage. And again, it's a skill. Sorry to say it, NBA MVP has always been a historical evaluation of how the player compares to the history of the game. If Shea's not a 3-time MVP historically, can't give 3, makes sense. 2 MVPs should also. Yeah, I mean, but Shea is a 2-time MVP level player, right? He is, historically speaking. He's going to go down as one of the all-time best guards in the history of the sport. There's no real reason to address that. Address Spurs players shaking ass for media awards. I mean, dude, they're just having fun. So let's talk about the Spurs. Because the Spurs dominated last night. And by the way, Shea popped off in the fourth quarter of that game. It's back-to-back fourth quarters. He hasn't missed an entire shot from the field. Absolutely incredible, right? But Shea, I want you guys to rewatch a game like yesterday. When we're talking about Shea's MVP case, look at what his supporting cast can be at times offensively, especially with all of their injuries. And I don't think people really grasp that the offense doesn't go without Shea for the Thunder. People overlook it and dismiss it way too easily. That's just it. Dude's just sorry, no other way to put it, all the talent in the world, but he's literally changing the game. And they're letting him. Now everyone whines about fouls. I mean, who are you talking about? Shea? I just disagree. I think where we're at with stan culture, and it is so bad with basketball, is people are so team-oriented or player-oriented that they have to literally hate everything else to prop up either their favorite team or their favorite player. They have to hate every other aspect of the NBA. I feel like this is only an NBA thing. I could be wrong. There's always rivals, right? Like in the NFL, as a Cowboys fan or, a recovering Cowboys fan, whatever you want to call it, I will always hate the Eagles. I hate their guts. But that's a rivalry. I don't hate the Jaguars. I don't give a fuck about them, right? But I do kind of feel in the NBA, in order to, and maybe that's true, maybe the quarterback discussions are really bad too. You don't see how SGA and the Thunder are hateable? No, I do. But my unpopular opinion with that is I think it's good for the league. I actually do. I think it's good for the league. It's why I think either the Thunder or the Spurs winning a finals this year would be good long-term for the league, because Wemby turning into the guy and not just being this is it. This is our next LeBron. He's going to be front and center everywhere. He's going to be a ratings magnet. Like, this is our moment, right? Or two, we get back-to-back for the Thunder. First time in nearly a decade we've had back-to-back champions. And like, as much as people don't like dynasties for the parody and stuff like that, it does give a common villain for everybody to root against. And ratings have shown this. League interests have shown this. Has shown this in the past. It's proven that I think a lot of casual fans, by and large, do enjoy that. They enjoy having that. They enjoy having that villain to root against. It's why I did a little thing about Dan Hurley. He's a psychopath, but I mean, he's good for is he not good for college basketball? UConn is always in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. What's that crazy stat they have where they're like, they've won their last 16 games outside of the Sweet 16? Is that what it was? Like, they're almost always there. Right? It's good for the sport. It really is. Undefeated post Sweet 16. I mean, that's insane. That's an insane stat. I agree. I think the NBA is actually trying to force him into becoming a dynasty, but I don't agree with that. What would, so my question would be this. Why would the NBA be pushing the Oklahoma City Thunder? Why wouldn't they do the Lakers? Why wouldn't they do any other? Yeah, but when people say this, they're saying that they're not good enough to actually win without getting propped up by officiating. Why not the Lake? Why? But when people argue this, what they're arguing is they can't do it without their help. So in theory, you should be able to prop up any team that's kind of close to contention. The reality is the Thunder got incredibly lucky with the Paul George trade, got an MVP back in the trade, and then also through the draft, through rebuilding and through the dumbass Clippers, were able to get a Defensive Player of the Year level player in Chet Holmgren and a really, really good All-NBA caliber, even though he hasn't been very good this year, All-NBA caliber player in J-Dub. And on top of that, their scouting department's incredible. Their player development department's incredible. And you have these mid to late first-round picks, second-round picks who come in and contribute right away, right? Like Jay Will, who's been fantastic this year, and AJ Mitchell. And then they went out and made shrewd trades to get like an Alex Caruso type, right? All this luck at the same time, he'll say Shea has no help. Me? When have I ever said that? My one argument for Shea is that his offensive supporting cast is not as good as I think most people say it is. But defensively, there's no denying it. He is the best supporting cast in the entire, of any of the MVP candidates. Right? Of any of them. NBA forcing Spurs dynasty with Harper ping pong balls. See, that's one that might be true. That's one that might be true. But anyways, let's get back to the Spurs. They beat the Bulls last night. Man, Bulls been in the news, huh? They beat the Bulls last night. Wemby, though. Wemby's the story here. And also, Dylan Harper good again last night. Dylan Harper has been... If Dylan Harper is just this player now, it's... Yeah, true. DVT MVP. Shout out to my DVT brother, man. But Wemby in 31 minutes. I mean, the production he has. And the biggest... It really, at this point, truthfully, really the only argument against Wemby is the minutes. It's the games he's missed and also the fact that he's averaging under 30 minutes a game this year. Right? But his production, especially over the last few months, in relatively limited time compared to other big minute guys is lunacy. It's crazy. 41 points, 15 rebounds, 16 rebounds, 4 stocks, 31 minutes. Crazy, bro. It's crazy what he does. It really is. When you watch him, it is like this guy, you see it. It's like this guy really might become the greatest player in the history of the sport. This guy really just might become that. And he might just be like on the precipice of this right now. And yes, there was something, and I'm going to talk about this in a video later today about some of the games last night. But yes, there was an NBA clip that was going around that the NBA page itself posted that had people really upset. This is I'm kind of going back to this, right? Like, I'm kind of going back to this where I feel as though if you get real deep into these weeds, you really have no choice but to just turn around and start hating the sport and hating the whole league and every player in it. Dude, the NBA, how many times does the NBA tweet a day? Like 300? Seriously, how many tweets a day does the NBA put out? Hundreds? How many? A classic nevermind forced by Wemby. People got so angry at this. And sure, maybe this is a bit of a setup tweet. Right? Maybe this is a bit of a setup tweet. I don't know. Right? But either way, again, let's just see. How many times does the NBA tweet a day? Harper equals mini Cade. I don't know what I see when I see him. Is it people say Harden? I see I'm frozen again. Can you guys hear me? People say Harden, but I'm not even sure I see that. I mean, dude, they've tweeted how many times just in the last hour? Fuck future All-Star. Harper plays like a star-level player, 100%. I don't see Harden either. Torian Prince can score against A-Cuff. That's why it's annoying. I mean, that's fair, right? And they did set him up with this, 100%, right? But still, though, I've seen people go this like, well, actually, Wemby's a dreadful one-on-one defensive player. And it's like, maybe he can get cooked on the perimeter a few times. Guess what? He is such an unbelievable rim deterrence and rim protector, an all-around incredible defender, that it doesn't even really matter. Maybe in the playoffs, a smart team will expose that, but I seriously doubt it. I think a Wemby exposed moment in the playoffs would be offensively, obviously. Right? It would be offensively. I wonder if the Fox shrinks the window for the Spurs a little bit in the long run. I doubt it. I mean, they didn't give up much for Fox, and if they do feel as though Harper and Castle are good enough, I think they could trade Fox. Like, it's not like Fox has bad trade value. Like, teams would trade for Fox. He's been good this year. So if they want to just stick with their young guys, I think they have the optionality to do that. I'm really interested to see what their offseason looks like, because obviously we have to see what the playoffs look like for them, but they have a lot of ammunition to go out and make some big moves. They might be an absolute wagon next year. They already are, but they might be a wagon. Anyways, man, it's crazy what Wemby's doing on a night-to-night basis. It really is. It's special stuff. Admittedly, I'm kind of hopeful, and that's my DVT brother. So I will always support him. Damian Lillard. Who else? There's been I think Yuki. I think he's a DVT brother. Asar Thompson. I have love for all these guys, right? Love for every single one of them. Did Chris Bosh have a DVT or just a blood clot? I know there's differences between the two. Wendell Moore. I have love for all of them right here, right? Zach Wheeler, love. I am hopeful Wemby doesn't win it this year, just because I think we're staring down the barrel of Wemby just kind of winning this award every year. Winning this award every single year. Brandon Ingram, love. Man, a lot of people. It's an epidemic. Kind of scary, actually. You sell high on Castle because of the dreadful three-point shooting? I think, here's the thing that I think people really overlook, right? Here's the thing people really overlook with that kind of stuff, because I've sort of fallen victim to it myself, is Castle just fits their identity to a T. That's it. That's an important identity piece for you. Now, maybe there's once you end up having to pay Castle $250 million or whatever, does that become problematic? So Deni Avdija is an interesting sell high player. That's an interesting sell high player. Selling high on Castle is the dumbest thing I've heard in a while. Yeah, I mean, what would that sell high even look like, though? Like, are you selling high on him for like a superstar? Or are you just selling high for a fuck ton of draft capital? Something like that? Castle's going to be an amazing 2B to Wemby along with Harper. He can be your second option or third option any night. I think Castle, and I do agree, Castle has some weaknesses to his game that I think could be exposed. And that'd be interesting to see in a playoff series. Prone to turning the ball over. He has been shooting well from three, but I think it's fair to sort of question how many games might we get in a playoff series where the three ball's not falling and it's kind of destructive. But that's something that'll be determined in the playoffs, right? So there's Luka fatigue for voting MVP since he's been so good entering the NBA, but Wemby gets top 2 consideration with average points and good defense for a year. What? I'm sorry. What average points and good defense? So what's the point in underselling Wemby's case? And this isn't like, I think the proper way to approach this year's MVP race, if it even is a race, right? But the best way to approach it without coming across super bitter, without maybe exposing yourself with certain takes, is just by saying, man, there are 4 dudes in the league right now who are having incredible seasons. And in other years where there was maybe a more weak MVP field, any of these 4 could win. Shea, Wemby, Luka, and Jokic. Right? And then on the outside of those 4, Cade obviously is not going to qualify, but I don't think Jaylen Brown really has that strong of a case. But if you look at like the narrative side of it, a team without its best player all year long still wins this many games. Right? But it's an incredible race. And all of these guys, these main 4 guys all have serious cases. They all have cases that make you sit down and listen to them. Right? I think what JJ Redick said about Luka, where 2/3 of the season he's been the most impactful player. I think Luka has absolutely an argument for being the best player in the world this calendar year, 2026. Now, I will say, I think Wemby's probably, I think Wemby also has a very good argument for that. Right? Here's the thing, though. You're going to have 2 teams in the West that are going to clear 60 wins. Both of those teams have a top 4. Like, is Wemby just the 4th best player? And we're kind of, because of injuries, moving Giannis to the 5th spot. So you have 2 60-plus win teams in the West that have top 4 players on their team playing incredible basketball. You have a 3rd seed in the West, almost certainly a 3rd seed, that has greatly exceeded expectations this year, headed by maybe the best offensive engine in the entire NBA. And then you have a Nuggets team that has been battling with injuries all year long, where, I mean, listen, I agree. I think Jokic's case out of those 4 is maybe a little the weakest, but he's averaging a triple-double. Think about that. Think about where we're at with stats now. He's averaging, his stat line is lunacy. His 19 assist game was a joke. Yeah, I mean, I think you can probably go through. I mean, Jokic this year is at 28, 13, and 11. 28, 13, and 11. Jesus. He leads the league in assists and rebounds per game. Sure. I mean, we are a little just... I fear we maybe take Jokic a little tiny bit for granted now. That's what happens with these guys. But yeah, all four of these dudes are just incredible. All four of them. And all four of them have like legit cases that I think are worth listening to. What type of chair do they have in the Haymaker office? I'm looking at new ones. Honestly, I don't know. It's comfy. And I'm not sure if there's a sort of a sponsorship deal or not. Well, Jokic, and I feel, well, I don't know. Voters love Jokic. They do. They absolutely love him. I will stand on this. I do think Shea will ultimately win this year. And I think that'll be it. I just think that'll be it. I think that'll be it for Shea. I struggle to imagine him winning another one. And that's not an indictment on him. That is just how the voters behave, right? I do somewhat feel the same for you. I struggle to imagine Jokic winning another one, but at the same time, the voters do absolutely love him. I'm just interested. Where does the Wemby hysteria get in the offseason? I'm almost certain Wemby will be the betting favorite entering the season next year, right? Almost certainly he'll be the betting favorite to win MVP. Do you guys agree with that? I'm wondering what that'll look like. Will he be like an overwhelming favorite? Listen, the Jokic 19 assist game, we've looked at him like with centers, sometimes the assists can get wonky with dribble handoffs. But all of these guys get assists like this, where you're making extra passes and then a guy takes 3 dribbles. That's always how it's been. That's always how it's been. I didn't see any of those, and I really have no horse, no pun intended, in a Jokic race. I've never, like, truthfully, I don't really care that much. I've never been a Jokic. I've never gone to bat for Jokic. I've never hated Jokic. I've always just kind of been relatively indifferent. I do love him. I appreciate him as an NBA fan. So I don't really have a horse in that race, but I don't know. I didn't see anything there that I thought was nefarious or weird. I think sometimes people just see remember the Jaren Jackson Jr. thing from a few years ago, where it's like those block numbers, but then you go back and you look and you're like, well, they're all blocks. Yeah, true. Jokic does have a horse in the race. Absolutely. So anyways, I am appreciative of these 4 guys all having tremendous seasons. Shea's a fairly big favorite to win MVP, but it has closed the gap. Wemby is ginormous. I mean, Wemby's winning Defensive Player of the Year unless he doesn't qualify. Khan has become a bigger favorite to win Rookie of the Year. I think that's probably over. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, this changes every other day. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the favorite to win Most Improved. I think that's a pretty good shout. Keldon Johnson, favorite to win Sixth Man of the Year. I think that's probably who I would pick. Now, you guys are gonna make fun of me if AJ Mitchell didn't miss a pretty extended stretch here. I think he'd probably be the guy who I would look at. Him, if we got a little bit more of Dylan Harper, I think that he actually would have. I think he would actually have a pretty strong case. Coop would have to go on a crazy tear here to close it out. Shea is overwhelming favorite to win Clutch Player of the Year. JB Bickerstaff has become a pretty big favorite for Coach of the Year, which I love and I respect. Shout out to JB. I was on my bachelor party this weekend. A few of the guys there, actually like half the group there was huge Detroit Pistons fans. And I was saying like, oh, I don't, they're like, dude, JB is definitely the Coach of the Year. I was like, I personally would say Joe Mazzulla, but hey. So if you guys ever hear like positive Detroit propaganda, just know why. Right? Just know why you're hearing it. Spurs players just shaking ass for awards. I mean, yeah, they are. You can't win. In this situation, you can't win because Wemby gets asked about. Mind you, they're getting asked about it. They're not just going to the podium and being like, hey, I deserve to be MVP. Fuck you if you don't vote me for MVP. They're getting asked about it, and they're answering the questions. Ryan Rollins absolutely deserves a shout, yes. Right, like they're getting asked questions. So Wemby states his case. People clown him. They asked Shea last night if he wants to give his MVP case, and he just said, I'll let my play do the talking. People clowned him. There's no winning. There's no winning that. I think what people want is they want you to say, no, I think insert player stands favorite player here. I think they should win. That's what they want. Kelvin straight up dodged the initial question and said he's sixth man of the year. Well, that's hilarious. Kelvin Johnson's a hilarious player. Oh, man. What an interesting couple of days, huh? What an interesting couple of days across the league. Here's the stat I was looking at earlier. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has not missed a shot in the fourth quarter or overtime since March 17th. 42 points scored, 11 of 11 from the field. Now, to be fair, that sounds absolutely insane. March 17th is 2 weeks ago. So that sounds insane. I do think this has been a case of the Thunder blowing some teams out. But either way, that's pretty crazy. March 17th, the day I was born. Happy belated birthday. The Thunder, have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games since then. It does look like most of these were blowouts. So Shea, I think, probably played in the fourth quarter and maybe 3 of those. But that's still pretty crazy. You can't deny that's crazy. You can't deny that's crazy. You simply can't deny it. Jaden Ivey reveals that his wife hasn't been texting him back. Oh, man. This is just sad to me. I'm sorry. This is just sad. I didn't even really want to discuss it, but I just saw this tweet 49 minutes ago. Sad situation. It really is. I just, listening to those clips and those videos of him, that is somebody who's clearly in the midst of a mental episode, of a manic episode. If you've ever had a friend or a family member, and I have, who's gone through something similar, it's clear and obvious what's happening. So I just hope that people around him are strong enough to help him get, the professional help that he needs. I don't know how you can have experienced something like that through a friend or a family member and not think that that's what's happening right now. That's not somebody of a sound mind. It just isn't. And I'm not even making like a statement on anything that he has said. If you have anyone, if you've experienced this, you know what it is. And it's hard to watch. It's not funny, right? Like, it's not a funny situation. Because again, if you've experienced it, it sucks. It's a horrible thing to experience. It's sad. It's destructive. I hope that there's people around him that are strong enough to help prop him up and get and get him the help that he probably needs. And it's difficult. It is. It's hard. I try to have just some empathy there. I try to have some empathy. He's going to be right. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a millionaire. Yeah, but I mean, these type of things, right? Mental health, it doesn't really care. It doesn't care how much money you have. And you can have all the money in the world. If you let some of these things, and I don't know, I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't diagnose him. But if you let some of these things spiral, $1 million isn't helping you much. I hate when people are saying that we're crazy for calling Ivy having a mental breakdown. Like what? I mean, again, if you've ever experienced something like this, somebody having a manic episode, you know what you're seeing. And it's not even the content of what he's saying. I think people are misunderstanding that. It's not what he is saying, right? Maybe that does play a little into it. But it is the ramblings. It is the incoherent, machine gun style, fast-paced talking, these delusions of grandeur, huge things are happening that you're not seeing, that I'm seeing and experiencing. It's clear and obvious what's happening. So again, I hope he gets the help he deserves. Seriously. I can't even believe that's a controversial take. That should be the standard one. That should be a standard one. Anyways, Christy Dome's husband? No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about Christy Dome's husband. That's not on the docket today. Make sure you guys join the giveaway, man. Make sure you guys join the giveaway. A chance to go to the Lakers and Mavs game on Sunday. Great seats. Great seats. I really don't want to undersell how incredible these seats are. They're basically courtside. They are basically courtside. How do I join, bro? Can we run the promo again just one last time before we end the show today? Is it possible to run one more promo ad? Stand by, everyone. Stand down and stand by, Slightly Biased Nation.
Hey, got a great update on our big giveaway. Now, we're trying to hook up one lucky viewer with a chance to go watch Luka play the Mavericks on Easter Sunday. We got great seats we're giving away. And we've been talking about all you got to do to enter to win is tag a friend, be in the comments, subscribe, follow Haymaker on all the social media platforms. Boom. You also get to do a meet and greet with Luka. You'll get to meet him before the game. He's going to bring a couple Lakers jerseys. He's going to autograph them for you. Now we're going to announce the winner on Thursday, April 2nd in the Slightly Biased Show, which I think is the greatest show in the entire universe. It's awesome. Now you get a meet and greet in addition to the tickets. Be sure to tell your friends. Good luck, everybody.
There you go, folks. There you go. That's how you join. Chance to win. Incredible stuff. Okay? Incredible stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We will be live tonight for the fucking Mavs and Bucks game. Woohoo! And then we'll be back here on Thursday. We'd love to have a guest on. We'll try to see. Try to squeeze somebody into the busy schedule here. We'll try to squeeze somebody in, and then we'll be live on Thursday night. We're going to watch Lakers Thunder as we can sort of prep for the playoffs. Might start squeezing in some of these sort of high-profile good matchups in the last couple of weeks of the season before we get into the postseason. So super excited about that. I'll have a video later today sort of going over some of the stuff in more detail that we talked about today with just Wemby and Shea last night and MVP stuff. Love you all. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you leave a like if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Who's it gonna be? My brain's gonna explode. My brain's gonna explode. There's something sinister afoot, absolutely.
Security at the Haymaker Network is provided by Smith Thompson. Secure your home now at smiththompson.com.